Hello guys and welcome. Today we'll be continuing to look through all of the hero talents in The War Within. So, this week we got served 12 new hero talents. So far we have gone through a couple of them. You can see them down in the channel. And please comment what your favorite one so far is. So, this one we will be covering is Spellslinger, Arcane/Frost Mage. Just a quick developer note, Spellslinger's splinters are themed and tuned based on your active specialization. So if you're Arcane, they're called Arcane Splinters. Frost, they're called Frost Splinters. Arcane deal Arcane damage, Frost deal Frost damage. It's just, those specs has been omitted for the mock-up of the sake of the tooltip's readability, as both spec splinters serve the same purpose. Just a quick disclaimer. So, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll just get started. So, this one will be Frost and Arcane called Spellslinger. There will also be Frost Fire called Frostfire, and Fire and Arcane called Sunfury. First on the tree is Splintering Sorcery. This one will be available from level 71. So, Arcane. When you consume Nether Precision, conjure a splinter that fires at your target. Or Frost, when you consume Winter's Chill, conjure a splinter that fires on your target. What is a splinter? Conjure raw magic into a sharp projectile that deals damage. Splinters embed themselves into their target, dealing additional damage over 16 seconds. This effect stacks. Okay, so far, pretty cool. On the left side, called Augury Abounds. From Arcane, casting Arcane Search conjures 8 splinters. During Arcane Search, whenever you conjure a splinter, you have a 100% chance to conjure an additional splinter. Okay. And for Frost, casting Icy Veins conjures 8 splinters. During Icy Veins, whenever you conjure a splinter, you have a 100% chance to conjure an additional splinter. And all of these does over time damage and stacks. Okay, so far pretty nice. Middle one, Controlled Instincts. While a target is under the effect of Nether Tempest, 20% of the direct damage dealt by Splinter is also dealt to nearby enemies. Damage reduced beyond 5 targets. Direct damage from Arcane Splinters resets the duration of Nether Tempest. That's pretty cool. Frost. While a target is under the effect of Winter's Chill, 20% of the direct damage dealt by a splinter is also dealt to nearby enemies. Damage reduced beyond 5 targets. Seems pretty nice. On the right side, Splintering Orbs. Arcane. The first 8 times an enemy is damaged by your Arcane Orb, conjure a splinter that fires the damage at the damaged target. Arcane Orb damage increased by 10%. And for Frost, the first 8 times an enemy is damaged by your Frozen Orb, conjure a splinter that fires at the damaged target. Frozen Orb damage increased by 10%. So far, all of this is all about these splinters. They're giving out damage over time, direct damage, AoE damage, and reducing cooldowns of different big spells. So far, it fits pretty nice. On the left side, it's the first choice node first one is called Slippery Slinging. You have 40% increased movement speed during alter time. Yeah. And look again, displacement has 50% longer duration, 25% longer range, and leaves behind a mirror image. Okay. So a bit more movement and a bit more, depending on if the mirror image also gives you the damage reduction, could be pretty nice. So, in the middle, another choice node. First one is called Reactive Barrier. Your Prismatic Barrier for Arcane and Ice Barrier for Frost can absorb up to 50% more damage based on your missing health. Max effectiveness when under 50% health. Yeah. And the second choice is Phantasmal Image. I hope I said that right. So, your mirror image summons one extra clone. Mirror images now reduce all damage taken by an additional 5%. So the reactive barriers are only for the barriers on yourself, right? It doesn't affect something like mass barrier, right? Yeah. On the right side here, we also get another choice note. First choice, volatile magic. Whenever a splinter is removed or recalled, it explodes. Dealing damage to nearby enemies, deals reduced beyond 5 targets. So it's only soft capped. Yeah, and this should be pretty interesting, I think. The other choice, unerring proficiency. Yeah, sorry if I just butchering all the names here. Arcane. Each time you conjure a splinter, increase the damage of your next supernova by 18%, stacking 30 times. Okay. Frost. Each time you conjure a splinter, increase the damage of your next ice nova by 6%, stacking 30 times. So, yeah, I will probably go for volatile magic, to be honest. Right under this is Force of Will. Gain 2% increased crit strike chance and 5% increased crit strike damage. That's just a nice to have. In the middle, Spellfrost Teachings. So for Arcane, direct damage from a splinter has a 5% chance to summon an Arcane Echo that deals damage to nearby enemies and increase the damage enemies take from you by 6% for 6 seconds. Okay. And for Frost, direct damage from a splinter has a 5% chance to summon an Icy Comet that deals damage to all nearby enemies and increase their damage taken by you for 6 seconds by 6%. So far they're really pushing towards like all of the splinter, which is a really nice theme that really fits between these two specs, but they're really pushing it to be a vital part, and also they're increasing the DPS, the AoE DPS component of these two by quite a significant amount. On the left side, shifting shards, shifting power fires a barrage of 8 splinters at random enemies within 40 yards over its duration. Okay. Cool. Last one is going to be called Splinter Storm. Whenever you have 8 or more active embedded splinters, you automatically cast a Splinter Storm at your target. At what target? What is a Splinter Storm? Recall all embedded splinters to you, dealing their remaining periodic damage instantly. After a brief delay, unleash a devastating barrage of splinters, dealing damage to your target for each splinter in the Splinter Storm. So for Arcane, Splinter Storm grants clear casting, and for Frost, a Splinter Storm applies Winter's Chill to its targets. This could be extremely strong, because you get 8 splinters out pretty easily using either shifting power or one of your big cooldowns, like Arcane Surge or Icy Veins. That would trigger a Splinter Storm, recalling all of them. Which means that something like over here, Volatile Magic, whenever a splinter is removed or recalled, it explodes, dealing AoE damage. And then you can go out and use like the splinters, dealing damage for your target for each splinter in the Splinter Storm. Okay. Does it have an internal cooldown? And does it have to be... It only says whenever you have 8 or more active embedded splinters, you automatically cast a Splinter Storm at your target. It only says at your target, not your targets. So maybe that's just phrased wrong, because that would mean that you could use something like Shifting Shards to proc Splinter Storm. Then you cast Icy Veins and another Splinter Storm. Okay. And for Arcane, especially, this all goes into resetting duration of Nether Tempest, and also it has... This could be extremely strong. So far, I really love this theme. I think it's really cool. So it adds a new component to the spec without being intrusive and forcing you into thinking something else about your spec. This is just building on top of what the specs already do. Like for Frost, for instance, you're not going out of your way to deal some weird rotation or some weird button that you never heard of to make this happen. You actually just play like you always would. This is pretty cool. This is definitely, like, if everything works out and is balanced properly, this could be like easily high A, maybe even S tier. So far, probably one of the coolest one we have looked at so far. So far, I really like this one. I can't wait to see Frostfire and Sunfury. So until next time, guys, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.